Sweet home, Santa Barbara, where the skies are so blue. Sweet home, Santa Barbara, what's worked for me can work for you. Hi, I'm Scott Williams, and I'm the co-host of Sweet Home Santa Barbara. And today I'm here with my co-host,
Jonathan Robinson.
And because Jonathan's got some really special skills in the area of psychology, he's a psychotherapist. And because he's written books that have been New York Times bestsellers, and many times he's been on the Oprah program, he's able to really talk to us about some of the psychology that we're involved with in real estate. So we're going to ask some questions of Jonathan today.
Looking forward to it.
Well, we certainly have moved into some changes in the real estate market. We're facing a fair amount of uncertainty these days. And so buyers and sellers are filled with anxiety. That's an interesting word, Jonathan. What can you tell us about being filled with anxiety?
Well, anxiety mostly consists of having a lot of thoughts and not much time to process them. It's like you get overwhelmed by a tsunami of thoughts, and that's really one very simple definition of anxiety.
Well, I would say that from being in the trenches of real estate, people definitely get overfilled with thoughts. Every form of news tells people that they should be worried. And so people do get worried. It's very powerful to have that coming at you all the time.
Yeah.
What are some practical things that a person can do when the world is telling you to beware and watch out and be careful and all that stuff?
Well, one thing I suggest to people is to be careful what you let into your mind. You know, you got to be a kind of a gatekeeper, and watching the news or being very aware of all the bad news in the world can be very disturbing. So, you know, sometimes you need to watch Facebook less or watch the news less just to take better care of yourself. And then, of course, there's a lot of practical things you can do to relax your mind, like meditation or yoga or taking a bath or playing with your dog or walking in nature or talking to friends. And it's really a matter of taking really good care of yourself as to what calms you down and what allows you to feel more centered in a world in which there's a hurricane of storms usually happening.
Well, that makes me feel better just thinking about all those things, because I love those things too. I know how powerful they are. Well, the world serves up interest rates are at 7%, and you want to buy a house or you want to sell a house, and you have plans. You're planning your life around, I want to get out of this house. I want to go into that home. And here is this, this is a fairly big actual physical block. 7% interest rates are quite a bit different than 3.5% interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't just a matter of gatekeeping your mind. Here's a big old fact that, could really derail or alter your plans. What do you suggest people? What do you suggest?
Well, in a market like this, everybody's subject to the same stuff. And really, when we have problems, our mind sometimes fixates on those problems. An analogy I use is, imagine a dime-size black dot on a big whiteboard. That's the problem. The problem is that black dot. And you have a relationship with that black dot. And most people, their relationship with the black dot is they put their eyeball right on it, and then they say, oh my God, it's totally dark and black, and it goes on forever, and all I can see is darkness and blackness. So what I tell them to do is to find a way to get some perspective and get their eyeball off that black dot. That might involve, as I said, doing something like calling a friend, being in nature, watching a movie, anything to interrupt this pattern of our minds, which tends to fixate on the worst problem in our life. Because there's more going on. I mean, even now, in this moment, there's me talking, there's me feeling the sensation of my butt on the chair, there's looking at you, there's a beautiful day outside. There's always a lot going on. And if you focus on that black dot and all the problems, you'll be overwhelmed But if you focus on, say, what you're grateful for in your life, or this moment, or your breath, or a friend, it puts it all in perspective. And it's really important when people are faced with these big stressful events like moving, that they get really good at self-care and they make it a priority. It's not like a luxury. I'll try to take care of myself once everything is solved. No, you got to make it a priority of, going to the gym or going for a walk or meditating. And if you don't do that every day in this process, at some point you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to probably make a bad decision.
Well, that is in fact a wonderful description of lighten up a little bit. Key to me in all of the things that you said is everybody is also all in this together. So even though it seems like it's just your black dot and your problem, the 7% interest rates, everybody has to deal with 7% interest rates. So creativity is probably up for a lot of people. Like, how do you deal with this? And you can maybe join in a little bit more with the flow that a lot of other people would like to solve this problem too.
And the more centered your mind is, the less anxious you are, the more you're going to be open to ways of solving problems and negotiating through problems that might be blind to you if you are all anxious and stressed out.
Okay. And anxious and stressed out also causes people just simply to give up and quit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not buy a house now. Let's not even think about it. I'll talk to you next year. People definitely deal that to me. And in their lives, looking from the outside, maybe not just looking at the black dot, they really do need to move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another thing is that any problem that people have, if they think about it too much, they'll get whipped up into the anxiety. But I like to break problems down into simple action steps to take. And I do that on paper. What's the first step I got to do? What's the second step? What's the third step? And then just go down the list. So you're not always thinking about stuff. You just look at your list. What's the next thing I got to take care of?
Well, the break it down to smaller steps, that's where I'm of help in the home purchasing and selling process, because I've been through this lots of times, and I can take a lot of the pressure off of people by helping them and bringing them choices.
When you helped me buy and sell a house, I felt that support, which was really nice because I was new to that game. And, you would just kind of be there as both emotional support and saying, this is the next thing we got to do. And it felt like a burden being taken off my back because I knew that you were there.
Thank you. There's a lot of people, think they know quite a bit about real estate because they've done it 2 or 3 times. And it is helpful that people have done it 2 or 3 times. And there's a lot of things that still come up.
Yeah.
On the 4th time or the 5th time or the 6th time that are new,
Yeah.
and that you'll be going through for the first time. I'm there for all of those events. I think something that the idea of new possibilities that you can, because this, we're going through a sort of a rough patch in the economic world, that there are more possibilities at this time. People may be more open, sellers may be more open to a buyer's proposal than they were several months ago. There's new products that come along in the world of financing to deal with the situation. It is not a standstill situation in the marketplace. Things keep happening to aid us and help us and assist us.
Mm-hmm.
And being open to that something new may be coming along, may be part of the well, I don't know if we call it the healing process, but the dealing process, dealing with situations like anxiety.
Well, every situation in life has its upside and downside. A few months ago, people were complaining they would make bids on houses and they'd be outbid by 10 other people. That's not happening now. Interest rates are higher. So it tends to balance out. It's never a slam dunk time to buy or sell a house. There's always some situation. And the people who are most successful learn how to handle their psychology and learn to look at the possibilities in a situation rather than just the downsides.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. Um, a couple of things, just thinking about the moving process we can deal with here. Generally, moving, buying, selling, moving, the whole process takes more energy and effort than people plan for.
Hmm.
That's just my observation of decades of watching people go through the process. Um, Anything you would suggest for, since this is a really big project that people have to deal with?
Yeah, take whatever time you think something will take and double it, because if you do that, you might be close to what is involved. Where people get in trouble is they think, oh, I can move in a day or two or something like that. And then they find that they can't. And then they get out of control because they didn't have a plan for what really happens. So when I thought about moving, I thought, well, cleaning my house, that should take, 3 or 4 days. And then I said, well, let me triple it. It'll probably take about 10 days. And it took 10 days.
Yeah. Well, I want to mention here, as people in sort of the good news category, that lenders, along with the rise of the interest rates, have created a couple of products that I think, are really valuable to both buyers and sellers to have some sort of idea that they're out there. And I compare this a little bit to when you are selling your car. If you have a car and you drive into a dealership and you'd like to drive out with a brand new car, they're able to help provide quite a bit of convenience to do that. There's a bit of cost involved, but it's very convenient to drive off with a brand new car. That has not been so available in the housing market, but now it is. Lenders will loan you money to acquire your new house when you have not sold your old one. They'll give you a period of time from 6 to 11 months to fix your old home up, to fix the new home up that you're moving into, get it all set it up so that you can move out of one home and conveniently move into the other home, and give you time to sell the old home and make all of that happen for you so that you can go out and pick a house that you want to move into when you haven't even let go of the old house. That form of convenience takes a lot of stress out of the process, and that is available.
And
it's not terribly expensive, actually.
That's the type of thing that happens in environments like this that balance out the difficulty with new ideas, new possibilities. And so now's as good a time as any to buy and sell a house. It's always a mixed bag.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Jonathan, because, and you can contact me, Scott@scottwilliams.com. And if you would like to talk to Jonathan about any of his specialties, just give me a call and we'll get you in touch with Jonathan. So thank you again, everyone, for listening to Sweet Home Santa Barbara. And we'll be back with another podcast episode soon.
Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to our podcast on your favorite app. If you know someone preparing to sell their home, please tell them about the podcast. Visit scottwilliams.com to contact me and download the 2 free e-booklets, Is My House Saleable Now? And How Not to Buy a Money Pit. Thank you for listening.